Welcome to the 7 Steps to Exhibition Success with Stephen Murtagh, the Exhibition Guy. Today is the step 2 of the pre-show phase of exhibiting and the things that we can do to be more successful. And what we're going to focus on today is the objectives and the reason why we're actually going to the fair in the first place. And very often when I talk to companies about this, they say to me, I want to make X amount of sales, or I want to make lots of sales. And that's a great objective. Of course it is. And it's one of the key reasons why companies exhibit. But there are many other reasons why companies exhibit. And there are also many other things we can achieve by exhibiting at trade shows. And that's what we're going to focus on in step 2 is the objectives for exhibiting. And where I begin, and what's really, really important, is understanding and knowing your why. And what I mean by that is very often we will go to a show and of course we will be focused on getting those sales or getting those leads to get those sales in for our business. And that's critically important. But there are so many other reasons why you can be successful at exhibitions. And what I want to focus on here is a term that we're all very familiar with called ROI, return on investment. Return on investment effectively means that we put in X and we want to get Y back. And that makes complete sense. But when we solely focus on return on investment at exhibitions, we're solely focusing on the money factor. When in fact, in reality, there is so much more we can achieve by what we call ROO, which is return on objectives. And really what I mean by that is when we work with clients and we talk about those 3 clear objectives that we're trying to achieve, many companies will go to a show with one objective, again, which I've mentioned, which is sales, or they may go with 25 or loads and loads of objectives. Now, the critical piece is what we want to focus on. What are the 3 key reasons we're going? Now, the sales figure may be number 1 of those 3 key reasons, but there are many other things that we can achieve that we possibly don't think about, or we possibly don't set down as those objectives. And it's really important to focus on what are the key reasons that companies in general exhibit at trade shows, but more specifically, what do we want as a business? And what are we trying to achieve as a business by exhibiting at this show? Because when we look at the 9 key reasons, and there are 9 key reasons why companies will exhibit at trade shows. Now, when you go online and search reasons for exhibiting at trade shows, it'll come up with lists of 25 or 26 reasons. But fundamentally, it comes down to 9 key reasons. And these are the objectives we need to consider. Now, when we look at the 9 objectives on screen, I've put make sales in yellow at the bottom on purpose. Because what we need to understand is by doing many of the other things that we talked about in setting the plan in version 1, the sales will follow. Now, when we look at this list of 9 objectives, some of them may not be relevant, but some of them are very, very relevant. And the key, and what I would urge you to do, is to focus on the 3 objectives that are most important for your business. Now, by setting 3 objectives, doesn't mean that you won't achieve lots of other things at the same time. But if you just go with one sole focus in mind, which is money or sales or revenue figures, there's a very good chance you're going to be disappointed. Because the reality, as we all know, is that sales from trade shows don't come necessarily on the day, but come the 3, 6, 9, and 12 months after the event. So let's set 3 really clear objectives for exhibiting. And what we can do then is achieve multiple things in one place at one time, which makes our investment, or going back to my return on investment, much, much more valuable. And it's really important. So what I would say to you as step 2, the key tip and what I would urge you to do is to set those 3 clear objectives by brainstorming with your team. What exactly are you trying to achieve? Because when you start thinking outside of just the sales metric, you start to see the power of exhibitions, but more importantly, the power that exhibition has for your business. Stephen Murtagh, the Exhibition Guy.